No pretenses, just podcast.
Hey, welcome to the Brothers Game Podcast. Hope you loved that really cool intro I came up with.
Yeah.
All on my own. I composed it and everything.
Yep.
I'm Nicolai, I guess.
And I'm Brian.
I guess.
I also guess.
Just kidding. I know for a fact that is the Brian game.
The Brian
of Game, and I am Nicolai of Game. And we are the Brothers of Game.
We are the Brothers Game because our names are Brian Game and Nicolai Game.
It's like
just like Mario, and Luigi Mario.
And Luigi Mario. Did you watch the second trailer?
No, I have not.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
Oh, really?
That movie looks so good. Like every clip and new trailer that comes out for the Mario Bros. Movie just makes me go, man, they really are trying with this, and it's really not bad looking.
Right?
So, yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Anyway, I am, I may be actively playing Pokemon Violet while we record this podcast.
Yep, because you still need to
I need to get
the ominous black
the
stake
ominous black
Pokemon.
stakes, okay? Not surprisingly, me and Brian have been playing Pokemon Scarlet and Violet nonstop, essentially.
Well, what's funny is not long after recording the last episode, I was basically done.
You sort of blew through everything, I guess. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, once you traded me all that stuff, I had nothing left to do, really.
Yeah.
So I just put the game down and waited for you. And in the meantime...
And I took quite a while, so...
In the meantime, I've played some other stuff. Yeah, you've been very busy with catering with
I've
your
been
job.
actually busy with real life, which is really messed up because I can't play Pokemon.
Yeah.
So. And I was sort of taking my time with the game anyway.
Yeah.
So,
You're like, don't these people know I have Pokemon to play?
Yeah, like just a few nights ago, I finished the main story and actually saw the credits and everything
And
like that.
I am right now finishing the Pokedex.
You are doing that right now.
Yes.
My last four are
My Quaxwell is evolving.
Are these legendaries. So
Yeah,
I forget what they're called.
Something
something terrible.
The creatures of ruin or whatever. Yeah.
Something bad happened.
And they have a move called Ruin or something.
Yeah, bad time, super bad. That's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect description.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing? What are you?
What are
you alluding to?
I had been in the middle of a game before I moved on to Pokemon, and that was Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
Yes.
So I decided, okay, let's go finish that.
Okay. Right, you didn't actually finish that, did you? Yeah.
I hadn't yet.
I guess not.
Okay.
Hang on, we're playing Pokemon.
Hang on, I gotta save. So, and then
I got one of the blue stakes. I'm now going for the second one. I don't think I've gotten any of the blue ones.
So yeah, I was playing Knights of the Old Republic.
This is a Star Wars video game, correct?
Yes, and there's a point where you make a decision that will pretty much lock you in.
Ooh.
Pretty late in the game. That once you do this, there's kind of no going back.
Okay. That's kind of cool. Is it like a moral decision or whatever?
Yeah, and so once I realized that, I actually loaded an old save so that I could have two saves.
Yes,
because
very smart.
Because
Persona 4 style.
Yeah, there's a dark side ending and a light side ending.
Very Star Wars. Okay.
And so I started with the dark side ending, and it is definitely the more interesting of the two endings.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
So the whole thing you're trying to do is you are Darth Revan.
Yes.
But you were wounded so badly that you were basically practically dead, and the Jedi revived you, but in doing so ripped away all of your memories.
Okay. Yes.
And they're not just like hidden and like ready to pull back out. They are gone. You are not Revan anymore.
Okay. So she's sort of a new person,
Yeah, you still have an innate talent for the Force and stuff, but other than that,
sensitivity or whatever,
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
And so your apprentice, Malik, has taken over the Sith and believes he has surpassed you and all this stuff. And he is trying to use this ancient super weapon called the Starforge to take over the take over the galaxy.
Not the galaxy.
Yeah. And so at the very beginning of the game, you have this Jedi named Bastila. And
Basculegion?
and she has this ability called battle meditation, which they don't go into detail at all about how it works.
It's just
they
called
just leave it vague.
Don't worry about it.
But basically, it allows her to win wars.
Okay.
Basically, if she's on her side using this ability, your team just will win the war because you will anticipate all of your enemies' movements before they happen and just be able to take them down.
Dang. So she just knows everything, basically, if she meditates long enough.
Yep. And so
A little broken.
she's on the side of the Jedi, and she actually helped the Republic during the Mandalorian Wars. She's basically why they won the Mandalorian Wars.
Interesting.
And so you are trying to help her out, basically, in the beginning, but eventually she just becomes like a side character, part of your team, and is just joining you on your adventure.
Seems like too powerful of a character to just be thrown to the side.
Yeah. I mean,
That's interesting.
She just becomes one of your teammates.
Okay.
And then at one point, Malik captures her. You can't, I don't believe there's anything you can do about that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
it's
sure
sort of
that's
a
just a story
scripted
event.
thing, yeah.
So, but he tortures her and eventually converts her to the dark side.
Dang.
And so you have to fight her.
Torture fixes everything.
And once you defeat her, you have the opportunity to join her and be like, hey, let's be Sith together.
Hey,
and,
let's both be Sith.
and overthrow Malik and take over the galaxy.
Good. Sound good?
And yeah, and so...
That's the decision, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so if you do that, you then have to kill most of your other allies.
yeah. That's
All
messed
of
up.
the ones that are like sternly light side, you have to kill off. You have a few allies that are just like, we don't care. We'll follow you still.
Sure.
One of them is a Mandalorian.
Nice.
Who was like,
yeah.
Revan is a legend to me. I will follow him whatever he does, wherever he goes. Then you have a couple of droids
Nice.
who just obey you because they're droids.
Because they're droids, yeah.
But all the other like sentient characters in your party, you have to basically kill, or they run away.
Harsh.
And then you go to the Star Forge, and you have to fight off Malik's minions.
The Star
and then
Wars?
you have to fight Malik. And then after you defeat him, you use the Star Forge and take over the galaxy.
Dang. So you just straight up win?
Yeah.
For evil at the end. Wow.
You just rule the galaxy.
Yeah.
Not as father and son, but as
son.
husband and wife, I guess.
Regular.
You and Bastila.
Nice.
If you choose the light side path, she at first thinks you're like weak, and so she runs off to go join Malik, and then you have to rally your allies and go to the Star Forge to stop them.
Okay.
And when you fight her on the Star Forge, you have the chance to either kill her or there's a dialogue option where you can just be like, join us, fight against Malik, and you can convince her if you have enough persuasion.
Oh, cool.
And she'll, up until that point, she had been using her battle meditation against the Republic, and then she switches and starts using it for the Republic. And then you fight Malik.
Seems sort of easily swayed this person.
Yeah. You destroy the Star Forge, and everybody's happy. Everybody is given medals, and you're
classic Star Wars
proclaimed
ending.
as heroes throughout the galaxy.
Heck yeah. All right, nice.
But yeah, the events that transpire on the Star Forge are almost identical.
Okay.
If Bastila is in your party because you're dark side, you instead have to fight these three like Sith apprentices of Malik. Mm-hmm. But if you choose light side, then you just fight her.
Okay.
Either way, the fights are pretty easy.
Yeah.
Malik is hard, which is so I actually lowered the difficulty to easy just because.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, what's funny is there's this event right before the fight with Malik that you can see what the plan the developers had was.
Okay.
But they totally ruined it.
Oh, that's so disappointing.
So the idea
I hate
behind
stuff like
this
that.
is there's this big room where there's these things that spawn these killer droids. And they'll spawn a bunch of them, and if you kill them, they'll just keep respawning until you destroy the machines that are creating the droids. But here's the thing. You don't have to do any of that.
Okay.
You don't have to do any of that because there's a locked
You don't gotta
door.
do none of that crap.
But a lot of locked doors in the game have this little icon that shows a weapon. If you attack the door, you can get and do enough damage to it. You can just walk
break through
through it.
Yeah.
And they did that to this door. And so you can just ignore this huge army of wave of droids coming after you, destroy the door, and then just walk right through it. And
how lame!
The event is over. So I did that both times.
Wow. Yeah, that seems like a missed opportunity. To sort of make.
And what's funny
that.
is there are other doors in the game that are just straight up locked, and there's no way to get through them.
So they could have done that.
So they easily could have done that. I don't know why they gave you that opportunity, but yeah.
Yeah, I wonder who thought like, no, this is too hard, or this is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, overall, it's
okay.
It was an experience.
That's what it sounds like.
It's a game that just has not aged well at all.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem.
That's a shame.
I think this is a game that if I had actually beaten it when I first played it, because I first played it not long after it came out. If I had played it back then, I think maybe I'd have a higher opinion of it, but it's a victim of its age.
It seems like one of those things that you adore if you played it when it came out,
right?
And you have those nostalgia goggles for it.
Yeah, dude, I was
all
like,
that kind of stuff.
People in Reddit threads were saying they've played this game start to finish like 50 times.
Yeah, one of those. I could see it being one of those games, like our Paper Mario and stuff like that. Or, my Kingdom Hearts 2 or whatever.
It was way too warm with this jacket.
Nice.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I'm playing it too long after its release. This is a game that this is the type of game that deserves a remake.
Yeah.
Just like all you need to do is just remake it without all these bugs.
Yeah.
You don't even need to upscale the graphics.
Just slight texture improvements or
just
something.
Some small visual improvements, but otherwise,
just not a buggy mess.
It also definitely feels like an old game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's a shame.
So anyway, speaking of bugs.
Pokemon Scarlet and Violet?
No. Oh. I stand by all of my comments about Scarlet and Violet. No.
Yeah.
Pokemon
it runs pretty well.
Red and Blue.
Yes.
So famously
terribly
has many bugs, many glitches.
Literally impossible to beat without glitches.
Yes, which I did watch that video.
Oh, good. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
Now,
just battling is a glitch.
I am trying out a ROM hack.
Okay.
This is called Sheen Poke Red.
Sheen Poke Red. Sheen.
Yeah.
Like
SHIN. As in like Japanese word for death.
Sheen.
And it's got a bunch of bug fixes and stuff. There's a version of it that's called Sheen Pokemon Red and Blue Light. All it is basically is the base game with all the bugs fixed.
Nice. Okay.
Now, obviously, it's not every single bug, but it's all the famous bugs, all the well-known bugs, all the known these are the common battle glitches and move glitches.
So small bugs, but also large glitches.
Yeah.
So there's no missing basically in this. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So here's a few examples. I'm not going to read the whole list because that would take very long.
By the way, I just got all of the blue
ominous black stakes.
Ominous stakes. Nice. Anyway.
PP usage is now tracked for both wild and AI trainer Pokemon.
Oh, good. Yes. They don't have unlimited PP now.
Moves no longer have a 1 in 256 chance to miss.
Excellent. Good.
Enemy AI ignores type effectiveness for moves that have 0 power.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
so
no
AI.
spamming agility because it's psychic type.
Just because it's psychic type. Yeah. Awkward.
No more skipping move learning when you level up.
Oh, nice.
So
That's cool.
like when they level up a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Burn and paralyze stat penalties are now properly applied after speed and attack stats get updated.
Nice.
Badge stat ups don't get stacked.
Oh, seriously, yeah.
Basically, they removed the thing where the stats are recalculated every time they change.
Yeah, exactly. Which I learned about from that video we mentioned.
Yeah. If a player is frozen, the hyper beam recharge bit is now cleared because when you got out of being frozen, you still had to recharge after a hyper beam.
That's messed up.
And stuff like that. Apparently, there was an unused type in the game called bird type, which they're actually using for struggle.
Oh, interesting.
They made it typeless so that it would
the 3 question
work.
mark types?
Yeah.
Type? Yeah.
So they used that so that it would work on like ghost types and stuff. Because I believe struggle is normal type.
Okay.
And so it was...
Right, but they didn't want ghosts to be immune to it.
Right, exactly.
Okay, interesting.
They have these whole AI routines where they've dramatically improved the AI.
Okay, good.
Fixes to moves. Dire hit and focus energy now quadruple crit rate instead of quartering it.
Instead of making it worse.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah, there's tons of fixes
so
for bugs that I had no idea
you didn't
were
even
a
know
thing.
existed. Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of bugs with substitute.
Okay. Was substitute even in the first game? I didn't even know that.
Which I always thought it was such a stupid move. It's like, oh, okay. So, yeah, you're not taking any damage, but you sacrificed a bunch of your health just to make this substitute. And as soon as I break it, then you're screwed.
It's true.
Yeah. There was a glitch.
Specific use cases.
There was a glitch if a healing move healed exactly 255 HP. That's fixed.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot of glitches with like the 255 thing.
Fixed damage moves can no longer critically hit.
So you could get a crit with like Dragon Rage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you can't anymore, basically, in this. But yeah.
Well, crit. It did a whole 40 damage instead of doing 40 damage. That rules.
Bunch of fixes with the move counter.
Okay.
To prevent infinite loops, rage ends after 2 to 3 turns.
Nice. To prevent infinite loops.
Yeah. Tons of graphical fixes.
Okay.
Oh, you notice right away when you play, because you see Nidorino has Nidorino's cry instead of Nidorina's.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. Didn't even know that was a thing.
Well, in that glitch video, can you play it glitchless? He said that at the very end.
Oh, did he?
He's like, you failed. Even if you don't encounter the rest of these, you fail right at the beginning because Nidorino's cry is wrong.
In the very beginning of the game, you already lose. That's awesome.
And yeah, apparently there's a glitch with Oak where if you talk to him, he'll give you 5 Pokeballs.
Okay.
And I forget how you trigger that, but yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, so I've been playing this ROM hack, and the funny thing is you don't really notice much of a difference in normal gameplay because a lot of those bugs are basically invisible to the player. Mm-hmm. Like if you had a thing on the side that showed like in real time how many stages your attack and defense have been increased or whatever.
Right, like you do in new games.
Yeah, if you could see all that, then in regular Gen 1, you would see all the times that it got messed up and all the times it didn't get messed up in this game.
Right.
The thing about this game is it's like, oh, this feels like how the game is supposed to feel.
It's just normal.
I'd say the biggest difference I've noticed so far, I haven't reached the Elite Four yet. I'm just about to fight Sabrina. is strategic switching of Pokemon. I've seen trainers do that occasionally.
Oh, that's cool.
Like,
you're like, oh, they actually made a smart
right
move
before I'm about to one-shot them, they would change out to a different Pokemon. The problem
that's
oftentimes
real
though,
strategy. Yeah.
The problem oftentimes is that I then just one-shot the other Pokemon first,
Right.
and then
of course. Excellent.
As usual, I am very over-leveled.
Are you going with just like your standard team?
Yeah, my standard 3-person team, my 3 Pokemon team.
Blastoise, Raichu,
and Fearow.
Fearow, that's right. I know sometimes you do like a Doug trio or something.
But yeah, that's
Hypno maybe.
Yeah, so like if I was doing a team of 6 in Gen 1, it's usually Blastoise, Raichu, Fearow, Hypno, Doug Trio, and some sort of either fighting or usually a fighting type, so like a Machoke or a Hitmonlee or something to round things out. But it's I basically never
Hitmonlee is one of your go-tos.
Yeah, I basically never do a team of 6 in Gen 1.
I usually stretch myself and do it anyway, even though it's a terrible idea. In that game.
The last time I did it, my team was in the low 40s by the time I reached the Elite Four, which is not high enough.
Abysmal, it's ridiculous.
I found 3 is kind of the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Although it makes you so over leveled for everything by the time you get out of Rock Tunnel.
So if that's too easy, wouldn't 4 be better? Or
4 is probably
a little more challenging, right?
Yeah, 4 is probably good if you are okay with the Elite Four. If you actually want the Elite Four to be somewhat challenging and you don't want to be super over leveled, you'll still be over leveled, but not like way over leveled.
Gotcha.
And 5 is okay. You're going to be under leveled for the Elite Four for sure, but if you're okay with grinding, then that's fine.
You'd have to grind, but you'd probably be okay that way.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend more than 5 in Gen 1.
I'm trying to find where the steak is. I'm getting the purple ones right now.
Yeah.
Do you have more about this Pokemon before I move on to a Scarlet and Violet thing?
Sure. So like, I've wanted to do like a ROM hack of Pokemon for a long time.
Yeah, you've mentioned this.
And that's how I wanted to start, was just doing it with all the bug fixes. Well, now there's already one out there. So
could you just steal this one? And
in theory, I could start with this and possibly even just use like binary editors to do a lot of the changes I want to do.
Yeah. That'd be super cool.
There's a few things. I've been trying to compile a list of all the things that I would want to change. Yeah. But there's some thematic changes that I'd like to do that just seem right to me.
Okay.
Some of them have logical reasons for them. Others, they're just it just felt right to me.
Yeah, I like
things
that.
like changing the types of Onix, Geodude, and Graveler to be pure rock.
Pure rock. I mean, it would make them better in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And to me, it makes sense. Onix is just made of rocks.
Yeah.
He should be
He's
rock
literally
type.
just made of rock.
And Geodude is literally a floating rock with hands. He should just be pure rock.
Yeah.
It makes sense for Golem to be rock ground, so I would still keep that. And it's not uncommon for, the first 2 stages of a Pokemon to be pure, and then the third stage to be tool type. Anyway, that's kind of a common theme.
And maybe upon evolution, he could learn Earthquake or something.
Yeah, sure.
I think that'd be cool. But yeah, that makes sense.
And it would automatically make Brock just a little bit harder for Squirtle and Bulbasaur, because he's no longer 4 times weak to them, without making him any harder for Charmander.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
so I like that idea already. I think what I would do is just give all gym leaders perfect IVs.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
And some EVs as well.
Yeah.
Or stat experience in Gen 1.
Different in Gen 1, but yeah. That'd be cool.
Just because they should be stronger than everybody else.
Yeah. They're gym leaders, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like that.
And then I liked the idea of, I want there to be more pure grass types in the game. There's too many grass poison Pokemon.
Yeah,
so
Gen
I liked
1
the
had a
idea
real problem with that.
Of at least Bulbasaur and Ivysaur being pure grass. Possibly also Oddish and Bellsprout.
Yeah, I feel like Vileplume makes sense to be poison.
Yeah.
Like it seems poisony.
And same with Victory Bell. So like
Same
those
with Victory
could
Bell,
both
yeah.
be like the first stage is pure grass and then the second and third are grass poison. Mm-hmm. And then maybe even Venusaur would be grass poison also. But Bulbasaur and Ivysaur are definitely pure grass. And then maybe Oddish and Bellsprout also.
Mm-hmm.
But that would give you a lot more pure grass Pokemon. I like that. I like single type Pokemon. I think they're underrated.
Yeah, I think they're often better than a lot of dual types.
Well, and in fact, when I was a little kid, there was a point where I became kind of a type purist in Pokemon. I was like, I think I'm only ever going to have single type Pokemon in my game because they're just better.
Yeah.
That's not totally true, but
right.
It is.
There's a lot of good dual types, but
surprisingly often how true it is.
All right, the purple stakes have been removed.
Yeah.
I'm halfway there.
Like, it was a toss-up whether Zapdos was better than a pure electric would have been with equivalent stats. You gain ground immunity, which is electric's only weakness,
which is fantastic.
but you also gain weakness to rock and ice.
Yeah, which is a shame. Which are both good offensive types.
Right, but rock really sucks in Gen 1 because of how few moves it has.
Yeah, I guess in Gen 1 it's different.
And Rock Slide has like it's the strongest rock move, but it's got low accuracy, and so I wouldn't be concerned about a rock weakness in Gen 1, but an ice weakness is bad. Ice Beam is really good, and most water and ice types can learn it. So
very true. Very true.
Ice Beam has gotten me past Lance many, many times. Oh, yeah. So
especially because a lot of his are dragon flying. So
yeah, other than Gyarados, his entire team is weak to ice.
Yep.
And both Dragonite and I think also Aerodactyl are four times weak.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not sure rock is weak to ice. I need to double check that. I know ground is, or maybe
weak to ice. Ground is weak to ice. I don't think rock is.
Yeah, I'm not sure rock is. Anyway.
But yeah. But it's not resistant. I think he is weak to ice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's definitely weak to ice. I just don't know if he's 4 times weak.
Yeah,
but anyway. Yeah, his whole team's weak to ice except Gyarados. So yeah. And yeah,
good times.
And then the other biggest change I wanted to make was changing the level curve. Because
it's weird in Gen 1.
There's this huge chunk of the game where everybody's kind of the same level.
All the same level, yeah.
And it's...
Which, from like an open world perspective, I guess is kind of cool.
Yeah.
That you can go all the different directions, but...
Because you've got the 2 routes to Fuchsia and Silphco, and they're all all the trainers there have about the same level Pokemon. They're all in the low 30s. If you do all 3 of those routes, you will be way over leveled, probably.
Huge, yeah.
And that's one thing I actually liked about Pokemon Red ++ is they actually did make those 3 different levels. So there's actually an order you're supposed to do them in.
That's nice.
Which I didn't realize the first time I played. So I did the hardest one first.
Destroyed, yeah.
I was like, wow, this is really tough.
Yo, they made this really tough. Yeah.
And then I go to the other one later like, oh.
Uh-oh.
And then if you're not going to do that, what you need to do is really ramp up both the number of trainers and the levels of the trainers leading up to the Elite Four.
Yeah.
Because if you've got a team of 6, you finish Victory Road and your team's in the low 40s and you've got no trainers left to fight.
Yep. Yeah, it's really lame.
Mm-hmm.
I think just adding maybe even trainer rematches would be kind of nice.
That could work too. And then the other thing is just scaling up the levels after Rock Tunnel.
Yeah, for sure.
Just having them actually go up because...
Or adding a few trainers too.
The first Pokemon that... I think Sabrina might have one Pokemon that's over level 40, but besides that, you don't find a Pokemon over level 40 until, I think, Cinnabar Gym.
Yeah, dang.
And then... and the levels don't go up all that much from there. Like most of the Victory Road trainers, I think, have under level 50 Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then you get to the Elite Four, and suddenly they're all in the 60s, upper 50s and 60s.
Bit of a curve.
Yeah.
How funny.
And while I understand that the Elite Four should be stronger than everybody else, that makes sense. But when you suddenly hit this wall, you finish Victory Road and it's like, oh, I have to go grind for 20 levels.
Yeah, nothing is fun about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is old school punishing RPG. Like, yeah, I'm not about that.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was not a problem at all in this game ever. This freaking Nimble, I keep running into him over and over.
Yeah. So speaking of this game,
yeah, I'm still playing.
Let's talk about Scarlet and Violet.
Well, I beat it, and I will echo a lot of people's sentiments. That was the story. This is probably one of the best stories in any Pokemon game.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean that's pretty obvious almost, but I really enjoyed a lot of the aspects of it.
Yeah, I like how everybody pretty much agrees. Arvin brings out sick Mabostiff, and they're just
For real.
crying,
like the stuff with his dad or his mom in your case.
Yeah,
is like
Arvin has the saddest
is so
life.
messed up, dude. And it's like, so we're now going to get into spoilers for the story, by the way. So if you haven't finished the game and you care, maybe skip ahead a little bit. So like, not only, hey, I abandoned you your whole life, also I'm dead. And now I'm an AI. Like, it's just so messed up. The AI Turo thing made sense because he definitely acted weird the whole time, the whole game. So he's a robot. That makes sense.
Yep.
Overall, I had like no trouble beating him.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't that hard of a fight, really.
Not particularly hard, but I was sort of over leveled, I think, a little bit. But one of the things I really liked when you beat him, but then it goes extra haywire and he throws out Miraidon or Koraidon if you're playing Scarlet.
Skyrit.
Scarlet. So you got to fight him, the legendary with your legendary. I loved the game design right there because I played into it perfectly. He throws out Miraidon and you throw out your first Pokemon, whatever it was. Mine happened to be Wugtrio. And then it shows like the Pokeball get locked, right?
Yeah.
And just your Pokemon doesn't come out. And I just sat there for a second. I'm like, okay, I wonder what you're supposed to do here. I didn't actually know.
I went through the same thing, yeah.
And so I'm like, I guess I'm just going to go to my Pokemon. And they're all grayed out, except for Miraidon.
Yeah.
And I went, and I go down to it. You click it, and it says swap in, and it's all like glowy. And I'm like, this is such good game design.
Yeah.
This is awesome. I'm like, it's time. Miraidon's coming out, Like, it was perfectly epic. And, like, I was perfectly surprised by it.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done. It reminded me of when you shoot the portal on the moon in Portal 2.
Yeah.
It's just like really, really smooth, and you just walk into it, and you know exactly what you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
and it's really cool.
Yeah, and because
love that
you had never controlled
ever
them directly in battle before,
but it just made sense. It was just obvious almost when it came down to it. And the fight between the two Miraidons was kind of hard for me.
Yeah,
because he doesn't have a strong move against Miraidon. He doesn't know a dragon move. And
that's interesting because Koraidon does know a dragon move.
So Miraidon doesn't know a dragon move. He knows Power Gem, which is Rock, which is normally affected by. He's an electric dragon, by the way.
Right.
And then he has Electro Drift, which is his signature move, and that's obviously not useful at all in this case because he's resistant because he's dragon, and then he has Endure, and he has Terra Blast, and so I was like, what am I supposed to do here? Because I think the Miraidon's also a higher level than yours. And so I'm like, okay, this is an actual fight, and I don't want to lose it. Story wise, I want to do it first try, you know. And so I used Power Gem, and it does an okay amount. And I was really hoping to get the power boost. Do you know that about Power Gem? How like it's a slim chance of raising every single one of your stats.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, which is really cool. And so basically I use that once. It does like maybe a fifth of his health, not a lot. And he uses something a lot stronger. I forget what it was. Anyway, it takes out like half my health. And I use another power gem, does an okay amount. He does that again. I am on low health now. And then he gets like a power boost or something.
Yeah.
Story, like some story thing happens and he gets like a special attack up boost and stuff.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, I need to use Endure right now or I'm gonna die. So I use Endure, and he uses Hyper Beam.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I used Endure because I would have died 100%, and I was down to 1 health. And then, but I'm like, he has to recharge. Thank God. I use Power Gem again. He's down to like 2/5, and I get the stat boosts
Nice.
from Power Gem. I'm like, what perfect timing.
Yeah.
So every single one of my stats goes up. And like Nemona or something cheers me on, which also gives him like a plus attack or something. And then that's when the terrestrializing orb activates.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, absolutely perfect. Because his Terra type is dragon.
Right.
So I terrestrialize and use Terra Blast, which is now dragon. After all these stat boosts at 1 HP. Thankfully, my speed was raised, so I got to go first. He terrestrializes the dragon and kills the other Miraidon. It was like an anime fight. It could not have been more perfect.
That's much more anime than my fight. My fight was I spammed the dragon move until I got my Terra Orb. And then...
that's what I expected would have happened. That's what I was expecting to happen. But I had to actually think because I didn't have a super effective move.
That's interesting.
It totally worked out, and it was awesome. So, great ending. Like, perfect, like, anime sort of battle ending.
Did I have a dragon move, or was it a fighting move? I'm actually struggling to remember now.
Yeah.
It might have just been a fighting move, but still, it was strong and it wasn't resisted. So.
Exactly. Yeah, my signature move, Electro Drift, was resisted. So I was like, Power Gem's all I got, man. And I was like, I have Terra Blast, but I can't Terrasilize. What the heck? Not knowing that it would activate halfway through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty epic. Yeah, it was fun. The credits are so cute. That scene when you're running it off with your friends and just like, oh, it's so good. Yeah. Yep. I like the characters a lot. Like Penny's okay. She's a bit of too much of a weeb to me.
Oh, that's why I love Penny.
Yeah, she's okay. She's a bit too snotty. She's a
bit snotty.
She's like,
that's true.
It's not her. I think I dislike how the writers wrote her is actually the problem. It's not her. I actually like her in general. But she's like too much, you know? And like she does like the shifty eye thing. You know what it reminds me of? Like a really old meme. Do you remember Hipster Ariel? Like Ariel from The Little Mermaid? With like, and she had like hipster glasses. It's like a really old meme, like one of the original memes. I don't remember this one
in particular, but
and like those eyes is exactly what it reminds me of every time. I don't know. That's just a personal thing. I don't know. But it is just like, it's so funny. They made her like a Twitter user, complete like
well, that's a bit of an insult, but okay.
No, not like a jerk Twitter user, just like maybe more of a Tumblr user, let's say that. Well. Maybe more of a Tumblr user. She definitely writes some sort of
fan fiction. Oh, definitely.
Evolution fan fiction.
Oh,
of some
absolutely.
Sort.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm a wolf, rar, type of thing. Sorry, no hate to the penny lovers out there. But Nimona all the way. So
Yes.
there you go. But I really liked the story overall. And I feel like there's still tons to do, which is nice.
I love that in her dorm room, there's just
they're just hanging out.
evolutions just all just laying around the room.
That's really cool. Yeah, and I just started my journey to evaluate all the gym leaders.
Oh yeah.
So I haven't done any of them yet, but that'll be fun. I love the sort of, what do you call that? The way the story progresses, and like you feel it, like you can tell there's progression happening, especially after you become champion and everyone calls you champion.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. Like, I think that may have been in like Sword and Shield and stuff too. I don't remember, but I just love that thematically it just continues to progress. The progression is really noticeable.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. But and I'm really enjoying the EV training and how insanely easy it is in this game.
Yeah.
It is just absurd. The fact you can get power braces so early, bottle caps are cheap in this game to like raise IVs. And it used to be to use bottle caps, which if you don't know, especially those listening, that maxes out an IV of whatever you want. In previous games, they were very hard to get, and your Pokemon had to be level 100 to even use them on it.
Yeah.
In this game, they only have to be level 50, and they're only like $20,000, and they're just in the shop. Like, it's absurdly easy compared to previous generations. And I'm not the type to be obsessed with that kind of thing. Like, I'm not a min-maxer too much, but it is kind of fun to make a Pokemon the best it can be, basically.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do have a quick shiny story to tell as well, because I just realized we haven't recorded the podcast since this happened, so I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
I had heard of Azumarill in this game, and I think it was in the last episode I actually ragged on Azumarill and said it was weak. I am so wrong, and it is so strong because it has huge power, which just doubles.
Your chair's squeaking a lot.
I know, because I'm so excited. So if you hear that, it's just my chair going nuts. And now I'm going extra nuts in it right now.
But anyway, yes, you were wrong about Azumarill.
Huge power, literally doubles its attack stat, which is just absurd. And it's bulky and a fairy type, so it's just good in general. And I've actually always liked the shiny of Azumarill. If you haven't seen it, it's already a very Easter-looking Pokemon because it's like egg-shaped and it's a rabbit. Like, Azumarill is totally like the Easter Pokemon, and its shiny is like a bright yellow. It's like literally marshmallow peep colored. 100%. And so I'm like, I totally want the Easter Pokemon. That sounds awesome. So I learned that you can sort of affect what mass outbreaks happen. Where you are standing when the day rolls over and you get new mass outbreaks actually affects what mass outbreaks there are.
Interesting.
Which is interesting. You basically, whatever Pokemon show up around you, wherever you're standing, is more likely to be in the mass outbreaks. So I went to the center of where Marill and Azumarill typically spawn, and I changed the date and time one day over to get new mass outbreaks. Because it's one of the few things changing your date and time changes.
Yeah, that was a weird thing I noticed, is that changing the time or date on your Switch doesn't seem to do anything for the in-game.
Not much. For the
day-night cycle.
Day-night cycle, does not change a thing, which is kind of annoying that you can't change the day and night cycle in this game at all. You just have to wait. I mean, it's only a half hour for day, half hour for night, 9 minutes for evening or dusk or whatever, and then 9 minutes for morning. But so it's not that long, but it's annoying for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, after just 2 day changes, I got an Azumarill and Mass Outbreak. And so to shiny hunt, it was kind of tough because it was they spawned in the water, and that northern lake area is really laggy.
Yeah.
Like no matter what I did, it was pretty low frame rate, which was annoying. But I used a encounter power 2, level 2 for water, or no, for fairy actually, because for water would have been too many different water types. I know it's past your bedtime, isn't it?
I'm yawning off the mic.
We'll yawn into the mic so we can hear how tired you are. Basically, mostly fairies were showing up, so a lot of Marils and Azumarils were showing up outside the Mass Outbreak too. And so yeah, I killed the 60. I won't go into all of that, but I get the Mass Outbreak shiny hunting thing going, and after a little while, I was like, it'd be really funny is if I found a Maril, that just a normal Maril somewhere that was shiny during all this, because I have the encounter power to make them show up. And then what happens after about 10 minutes after looking for Azumarils? Now at this point, Azumarill, I was like a 1 in 1,000 ish chance, right, to get a shiny. Every other Pokemon is still 1 in 4,096.
Right.
And I see a Maril.
Nice.
a light green Maril. Absolutely blew my mind. That it's I think the only full odds shiny I've seen in this game so far, that I know of at least. I've probably run past a few.
Yeah,
Guarantee
I
it.
could have run past a dozen shiny Floettes, and I would never have known.
And especially like shiny Tandemouse and stuff, they're like identical. It's so messed up. But this one stuck out, thankfully. So that was super cool. I was like, heck yeah. So I got that Maril, but I was like, but I'm already doing this thing with Azumarill. I'm just going to keep looking for Azumarill too. And so not that long after, maybe 10 more minutes of searching, I got the light yellow Azumarill. And then I was feeling lucky. I'm just saying, I was feeling lucky. And the problem was the shiny Azumarill, and I think the Maril too, were water Terra type, which is fine, but fairy Terra type is definitely better for it. And I'm like, what's one more shiny Azumarill? So I literally went and I kept searching, and it gets super quick that time. Only 1 in 1,000. It was pretty quick for the second one. So I actually have 3 shiny Azumarils.
Nice.
Totally unnecessary. But
Does one of them have the fairy Terra type?
It has fairy Terra type. It was perfect in every way. It even already had like the adamant nature, or modest, whatever, I forgot. The right nature, but it had thick fat instead of huge power. But once you beat the game, you can just buy ability capsules.
Oh, nice.
So I just went and did that a little bit ago. So I got an ability capsule, switched it to huge power, and perfectly set up its IVs. Did the bottle caps to max its IVs. Got EVs through EV training on attack and HP, and it's all ready to go. I named it Marshmallow, obviously, and it's super cool. Yeah. It's my perfect Maril.
Yeah, I got a belly drum drain punch Hariyama.
Oh, heck yeah.
To train up for doing raid battles.
And now that I've given you an Iron Hands, you should look into that too. He is a beast, man. So crazy.
Because, I did my first 5-star Terror Raid. And
5-star Terror Raids don't mess around, man.
Yeah. My level 100 Meowscarada was doing nothing.
Just got wrecked by it. What was it?
A Gyarados. A Psychic Terror type Gyarados.
Oh, interesting.
I was using just dark type moves because Meowscarada's half dark.
Yeah.
Part dark. So
dark and grass is like perfect against a water psychic.
But I was doing so little damage with each hit is the problem.
Dang.
Even though they were super effective, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
I discovered you can change your Pokemon's Terra type,
Yep.
but oh boy, you
50
need
Terra
a lot of, and I don't have
50
yeah,
Terra shards.
because
So much.
my Armor Rouge is Fire Psychic and has an Ice Terra type. Completely worthless.
Worthless.
So,
Oh, you got
but,
like a special Carcadet or something? Charcadet?
yeah, I guess.
Some weird Charcadet?
But
That's
yeah,
funny.
so and I don't
messed
have
up.
anywhere near enough fire or psychic raid crystals, Terra crystals
Yeah.
to
Terra shards, yeah.
Terra shards.
It's really absurd. 50's a
Yeah.
lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, you mostly get them from raid battles. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would wonder what would be best. Probably Ghost. Because Ghost has good resistances and 2 immunities. So that would be nice. But yeah. For most Pokemon, like Steel is like the best Terra type.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
because it has so many resistances. Mm-hmm. But like the like Gyarados, I was reading a thing that was like Gyarados with a ground Terra type, turning its 4 times weakness into an immunity. I'm like, bro, heck yeah. And it already usually runs Earthquake
Yeah.
because it's got good physical attack and can learn Earthquake.
Yeah.
So ground Terra type would be perfect for Gyarados. Oh, so good. It's fun to think about some of the combinations.
Yeah.
It can be really good.
Although I don't really see the benefit of that over just a ground type Pokemon.
Well, Gyarados is just good in general. It
Yeah.
has Intimidate.
I mean, I guess his stats are pretty decent, but yeah.
He's
are
good
pretty
bulk, despite I mean his speed isn't great, but bulk plus a high attack stat. I mean he's decent.
So while I was catching the last few Pokemon, so as I mentioned in the last episode, the Slackoth was the hardest one for me to find. I have never found one.
Yeah.
I got one by breeding instead because that was took nowhere near as long. And in fact, I wish I had done that from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then with Sinistea, there's the chipped and cracked pots.
Yep.
Now, you can buy them from this auction place, but it only changes once every in-game day.
Yep.
So unless you want to wait an hour every time just to see if they have the thing
worst.
available, it turns out there is one of each just in the overworld.
Yep.
And so I just looked those up and found them, which also... The game is still new enough that a lot of the guides are wrong.
Or just straight up wrong, yeah. Like now you can trust Cerebi. I think Cerebi has finised its coverage of it, thankfully.
Cerebi's usually pretty good
Usually
about that
the go-to,
anyway.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. I actually need to get not the cracked pot, but the other one.
The chipped pot,
Chipped pot, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I finally
you have
found
the one
an
with the
antique.
Authentic mark of authenticity or whatever.
The
Yeah.
1 in 100 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's great. I learned that you can learn what it is without catching it. You can literally just look at it in the overworld. If you get the camera angle right, you can see a pretty prominent little blue like sticker on the bottom of it. And yeah, I did finally find one. So
Yeah, and for some Pokemon, it's just a matter of actually looking in the right spots.
yeah, thankfully with Sinistea, a lot sort of spawned near that psychic gym.
Yeah,
But
like
yeah.
Sinistea wasn't hard to find. It was just hard to get so like I was looking for a wild Umbreon, and the problem is I was looking in the overworld instead of in a cave.
Oh,
which
yeah.
They're
Very
They
specific
spawn more in
biome.
caves. And then
learning those biomes
for
is
Roaring
interesting.
Moon, I looked up where to find him, and there was this guide that said, go to this one spot. He's not in that spot. He never spawns in that spot. Why on earth would they put
funny.
that in this guide? No, there's one little cave that he spawns in, and he's almost always there.
Yep, same with Iron Valiant is in the same cave
Yeah.
in my game. And yeah, that cave is really cool though. How it's just like this little crack in big rock formation. I love that. I think that's really cool actually.
But yeah, once you know the right spot to look, a lot of these Pokemon are pretty easy to find.
Yeah,
actually.
totally.
There's often in most Pokemon games, there's one or two Pokemon that are just like a huge pain to catch.
Yeah, for sure.
And so once I knew where to look, most Pokemon were pretty easy to find and catch.
Yeah.
Bruxish was weirdly hard to find.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I found it like instantly.
I just could not. I kept going to the places where they spawned, and then while I was looking for a different Pokemon, it showed up, which is often what happens. And then with Barboach, there's
they're tiny too.
only a few places where they'll ever spawn.
Yeah. Definitely.
But again, that was just a matter of finding the right spot where they actually will spawn. And then,
It's funny. It's like there's something kind of cool about them being sort of hard to find, but then also it's just annoying. Like, yeah.
So, in other news, as our wrap-up story.
Wrap it up. What are you wrapping up?
I'm going to Japan.
You're freaking going to Japan, dude.
So I think it was
You're actually going to Japan.
Yeah.
Also, but like next week.
Yeah. So like, I think it was like 2 episodes ago, I was like, I might maybe be going. No, I bought the plane tickets. I've booked my hotels. I'm going.
That's crazy.
I leave Sunday night.
Like, since we were young teens, we've been like dying to go to Japan.
Absolutely.
Like, super weeb mode. Like, that is just
and like
awesome.
My high school was partnered with this group that would go. So, but it cost like over $2,000, and at the time I just did not have that kind of money. And
now you do have that kind of money.
This is like one of the first times in my life where I did have that kind of money.
Daddy got paid.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So next episode probably will 100% just be Brian's Japan trip. Like, and then after that, Christmas Spoils 2022.
Yes, absolutely.
Everyone's favorite episodes.
Yeah.
Gets millions of downloads every single time.
Yep.
And this time will be no different. Speaking of downloading, if you're listening to the podcast, please download on the podcast platform that you're listening to it on.
Yeah.
Like Spotify or Apple or Amazon or Google or other ones.
You can even download it from Buzzsprout.
Yeah, hey, I mean, look it up.
It's an RSS feed, so like,
that's true.
I'm pretty sure we have one listener who always just downloads automatically via RSS. I'm not sure they even listen. But
of course they listen.
If you do listen,
they're
you're
our
awesome.
best friend. Their name is Elliot. Pretty good, right? Hey, you never know. So Elliot, like, if you're listening,
they know my name.
How did they know? It's like in Jingle All the Way. When he's like, Jamie! And he's like, now this is pod racing.
Yep. Yeah, remember when Anakin was in a Christmas movie?
Yeah, man. Heck yeah.
I'm a person. My name is Anakin.
Good times. Hey, go follow us on Twitter at the Brothers G Pod, please.
Or check out our subreddit r/Brothers Game Podcast.
Please follow. Please listen. I'm not asking anymore. I'm demanding.
Yeah.
How about that? So take that.
And with that, good night, everybody. I'm going to bed.
Are we at time? Is it?
Basically, we're like a minute and a half short.
This is a short episode?
Yeah, it is.
Well, we got to pad it out. Think of all the really cool things we could be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I only need 2 more of the yellow dudes.
Oh, nice.
And then I just have the green ones.
Cool.
I'm almost done. I've got 2 done.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna have all the Pokemon.
Cool. Good night, everybody.
Wait, I have so many things to talk about. I could talk about cheese. I could talk about coffee. I like that a lot.
Have my hand on the space
bar.
We're
gonna do an episode about energy drinks. By the way,
Yeah.
what do you think? Tell us in the comments. Okay, bye.